Hey everyone, welcome back. So today's look is on my twin sister. I didn't have any direction with this tutorial, I just knew I had some new products that I wanted to try, so we just decided to go with it. So I'm applying BECCA's First Light Priming Filter, and this is a translucent cool violet lotion, and it's great for all skin types and all skin tones, and this instantly brightens and refreshes dull looking skin. Then I'm spritzing over Callie's skin with PIXI's Hydrating Milky Mist. This is a super lightweight moisturiser that isn't heavy on the skin. Next I'm going in with Benefit's Porefessional, and this is great at just smoothing out the skin's texture, and I tend to just apply this through the T-zone of the face. Next I'm going in with BECCA's Backlight Priming Filter. This is a great product if you suffer with dry skin and you're lacking that luminous glow to your skin. This is designed to be applied all over your face for that soft focused glow, but if you're like Callie and I and you suffer with oily skin, then keep it just to the high points of the face. It works beautifully under your foundation because it really gives you that nice glow from within. I'm going to prime Callie's eyelids using Too Faced Born This Way concealer. I'm using my MAC 212 brush to line underneath Callie's brows, and then I'm just going to use a fluffy blending brush to work that over the entire eyelid. We're doing this to neutralise the skin on Callie's eyelids and to also prime them ready for her eyeshadow application. For the eyeshadow I'm using ZOEVA's Naturally Yours palette. I'm mixing together the two lightest shades in the palette, which is Pure and First Love, and I'm using this to set that concealer in place. Next I'm taking Smooth Harmony, and on a flat shader brush I'm pushing this over the entire mobile eyelid. I'm also going to take it just over where the eye naturally creases. Now because this is quite a soft colour, you do need to layer it a couple of times to really make that colour show up. This shade kind of reminds me of Patina from MAC, but it's a little bit more goldy. The next colour I'm going to be using is called Sweet Sound. Now I'm just going to show you with Callie's eyes open where the highest point of her eyelid is. If we draw an imaginary line outwards from that, I'm not going to apply the colour any higher than this point. We will be blending it higher, but the actual placement of the eyeshadow will always be here or lower. And it's important for me to explain this because so many of you say when you're creating a nice soft smoke that you end up with a completely messy looking eye and that you don't have any colour left between this and your eyebrow bone. So the placement of your eyeshadow and the blending are two different things. So you can see I've created a nice V shape on the outer corner of Callie's eye, and I've not gone any higher than where her eye naturally creases. And I use a small blending brush to work the colour in directly where I've applied it first, so you can see it's slightly more diffused. Then I go in with a fluffy blending brush, like I am now, and start to really diffuse those seams. So now you can see I've completely blended it out, but I still haven't really taken it any higher. Now I'm taking a pencil brush because it's more precise, and I'm applying the same colour to the lower half of that V shape. So from the outer wing straight down onto that top lash line. And then I'm using that fluffy brush to push the colour onto the eyelid. So here you can see again, I'm pulling that colour downwards onto the lash line and then just fading it up in that V. Then going back in with my fluffy blending brush and sweeping that colour from the outside towards the inside. So now you can understand that although the gradient might fade up slightly, the initial placement of the eyeshadow stays in line or below that socket. Next I'm taking Slow Dance, which is the darkest brown in the palette, and I'm tracing my steps on that outer V shape, again keeping it on the outer half of the V, pulling it down towards that lash line. And this is just to build up the intensity of those brown shades that I'm using, but you stop where you're comfortable in terms of darkness, it's completely up to you. On an angled liner brush, I'm mixing together Slow Dance and Timeless Chic. These are the two darkest shades in the palette, and this time I'm lining that very top lash line on the outer corner, but keeping it really close to the lash line and feathering it into the shades that we've already got there. So again, it's just intensifying the very outer edge. Next I'm going to get Callie to open her eyes and look straight ahead. That way I can see where the highest point of her eye creases again, and just fill in that little section with what's left on my bristles. And then again soften that with my blending brush. Next I'm taking Peached Pigment by Peaches and Cream, and on a flat brush I'm pressing that onto the inner half of the eyelid. Obviously this is an optional step, I just love this pigment and I just knew it would work really well with these colours. Now I'm taking the AMC Cream Eyeliner by Inglot, and this is number 89, which is a nice brown. Callie's super sensitive, so she's got really tickly eyes, so it's easier for her to apply it to her tight line and along her waterline for me. Now this is where my battery died, so I applied some face and body foundation off camera. Callie likes a really natural coverage, so I only applied 2 coats with my hand, but you can really build this foundation up to be full coverage if you like it. I'm just going in with a little bit of the Too Faced Born This Way concealer underneath the eyes and around the nose. This will help to give us a little bit more coverage where we want it because we've got that really nice light coverage with the foundation. I'm using MAC's Mineralised Skin Finish Natural in Medium Plus, and on a powder puff I'm pressing this into the foundation. If you're particularly oily and you really want to set it in place all day, then I would use the Vichy Derma Blend. Next I'm taking the BECCA Sunlit Bronzer in Capri Coast. This is another new product that I received this week. So I'm just going to use this around the circumference of Callie's face and on her cheekbones just to give her a bit more of a sun-kissed glow. If you want to see more about these bronzers, then I have done a blog post on them. You can see the blog post if you go to my Facebook page, which is ShowMe Makeup. Or you're welcome to actually visit my blog, which is on Tumblr, and again it's ShowMe Makeup. I just need to deepen Callie's brows ever so slightly because we've bronzed up her skin. I'm using the Diego Della Palma eyebrow pencil in number 13. Underneath those lower lashes, on an angled liner brush, I'm working the shades Slow Dance and Timeless Chic all the way across, and then I'm smoking that out ever so slightly with a pencil brush. I'm applying some of this Natasha Denona blusher in Sheer Nude. If you're happy with your bronzer, then you don't have to apply blush. I'm sweeping this onto the apples of the cheeks, and then I'm knocking the colour right back with the foundation brush. It's a great tip to use your foundation brush because it still has a little bit of foundation in the bristles. Taking some Champagne Pop highlighter, I'm applying this to the tops of the cheekbones. Again, it's not a necessity because we have got some of that Backlight primer underneath, but if you like a glow, then go for it. And then off camera I applied some NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in the shade London. Callie actually wanted to go for a bold lip, but we couldn't decide what colour, so we went for something completely different and chose a kind of Mocha shade. So anyway, we hope you enjoyed it. It wasn't a planned tutorial, we wasn't sure what it was going to do, we just wanted to have a play about. If you would like to see more of my channel and more of my tutorials, you can hit the subscribe button on screen now. You can also catch up with last week's tutorial, which is on screen now, as well as my social handles if you want to follow me outside of YouTube. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye!